most intense, thrilling, electrifying sport on the planet. Mixed martial arts. You've been looking for the definitive podcast to call your new home to hear everything about it. The search is over. This is the MMAnomaly Show. No filter. Bringing you the hottest MMA breakdowns straight from the heart of the octagon. This show is all about MMA breakdowns. For fans, by fans. We're talking UFC, MMA, and the occasional big boxing match. We'll bring our unique take on how these fights are going to play out and who we think are the best bets. Welcome to the MMAnomaly Show. No filter. And now your hosts, Olin, a.k.a. MMAnomaly, and Emiliano, a.k.a. Jive Turkey Nano.
What is up, fight fans? Welcome back to another episode of the MMAnomaly Show. No filter. I'm your host, Olin, a.k.a. MMAnomaly, and with me, as usual, is the co-host with the most, Jive Turkey Nano. But of course, I've got to address the elephant in the room. Look, folks, I just got done going to Comic-Con this last weekend, so I've still got the Wolverine hair until my barber hooks it up tomorrow and fixes this. So I figure I might as well show up in fashion, right, folks? So Wolverine will be doing the breakdown today, or Logan, rather. But without further ado, Nano, how are we doing, brother? How was your weekend?
Let's go. Great to see everybody, and great to see you, Logan, as well, my brother. Thank you for all that you do in all the universes. You are a pivotal character, not just in Marvel Universe, but my universe as well, brother. Yeah, man, all things are good. You know, we didn't get a chance to break down the card before. We did have crossover here, a little crossover event, if you will. But my brother, it was a lot of violence, some upsets. You know, and we got El Capitan on board, so we are ready to roll, baby. Can't wait.
What's up, Capitan Rafucho? Halloween came early. Wolverine MMAnomaly is here. Yeah, man. That's my favorite thing about Comic-Con is it's like an extra version or extra excuse for doing Halloween ×2 for this guy. And actually, I mean, it's actually an excuse to do Halloween ×5 because I did 4 different costumes for all 4 days. So. Day 1, I was Superman / Clark Kent. Day 2, I was Han Solo. Day 3, my barber hooked it up at 7:30 a.m. doing the haircut and the beard cut for me, and made me into Wolverine. Wore the blue and yellow spandex, the whole like bodysuit. It was a good time, and did a hefty set of push-ups and bicep curls, and put on the tank top to be Logan, baby. And of course, I was walking around with the big cigar and stuff when I was at Comic-Con. So you got to commit to the bit, baby boy. And with that being said, speaking of committing to the bit, my goodness, were we committing to the bit of dogs winning these fights on Saturday morning? I mean, Martin Buday at heavyweight, I thought he was going to have a bad day, but he didn't. Instead, he had a pretty damn good one, bro. He came out there. He made Marcus Buchecha look like a newcomer to the UFC, which is every bit of the truth that it is. But we expected this guy to come in and kind of steamroll through Martin Buday with the elite level grappling that he possessed. He went 1 for 11 on takedowns here. And even when he did get the takedown, my goodness, was he not doing a ton with it, brother. He attempted exactly 0 submissions that were registered. So, as the BJJ guy, the guy that's supposed to be sinking submission threats the entire time, make it make sense, brother, because it really didn't for me. But Martin Buday definitely had a coming out party for himself on Saturday morning to start the card at 9 a.m. Nano, what were your thoughts on this one? What stood out the most to you?
Yeah, man, bright and early, Martin Buday getting the Buday started, if you will. It was an interesting one. I would say that my main takeaway with this heavyweight fight was really just Martin Buday's well-roundedness to the game. I think the eyeball test would have assumed that Marcus Buchecha would have had a little bit of a better chance out there. Dude is shredded to the gills. And then you see Martin with that spare tire down, on the lower gut area, and you wouldn't assume he's that skilled, but boy, he is light on his feet. He was able to stuff 6 of those takedowns in that first round, which really, for me, kind of was everything I needed to see. It's like you knew Buchecha was going to come in there with that game plan. And if you're not able to get to your spots, might end up being a long day for him. And that's kind of where it ended up going. He edged out that first round. Second round, got outstruck by his opponent, Marcus, but then edged it out in that last round by stuffing another 4 takedowns and landing more than double significant strikes in his opponent. Had me fooled. Again, I think I would have probably taken Buchecha just on the sheer looks of things, but this boy represents Slovakia, which oddly enough was just one of those obscure countries I would always say, growing up. It's like, from Slovakia or something rather. He's really from Slovakia. So love to see that representation here in the UFC. And speaking of UFC, what up, WMC here in the chat? What up, lads? Right back at you, lad. We're up.
We do Western Mass.
Good to have you, baby.
Love to see you guys in the chat. Let's go. Thanks, Andrew Nance. Nice hair. I appreciate it, man. It was for the Comic-Con bit. As I've said before, and I will say time and time again, you got to commit to the bit, folks. If you're doing something, you got to do it all in, right? We don't half-ass here. So let's fucking go. Let's fucking go, baby. Got
to, man. We don't have
Martin Buday, though. Dude had a great day. Stud performance. Question for you, my guy. Do you have a name on the tip of your tongue as to what should be next for the young man?
And I think half of it is just for the simple fact that I want to see my boy Taliesin Teixeira get back out there. I need him to get some more points for me for UFC Fantasy Season 3 here. Before I keep going, Andrew Nance said in the comment section, smash the like button. We would really appreciate it. And leave a comment as well. Let us know how you're feeling. We interact with you. We see you out there, and we appreciate it again. But I do want to see Taliesin get another crack. If not, maybe even like a Marcos Rogerio de Lima. I think there's a lot of good names that Martin Baddies Buday put himself as a potential dance partner. Don't know if he's ready for the top 15 yet. Maybe top 15 eliminator is what I'm seeing on the horizon here. If I'm pulling out my crystal ball, I think that's what's next for Mr. Buday. What about you, brother? Any names top of mind?
Yeah, I mean, currently Martin Buday is ranked at number 13. Taliesin Teixeira is ranked number 14 on the UFC official website, so he's sitting below him. I don't mind that pick at all. I think it'd be a fun matchup, but I'd almost like to see a match between a Martin Buday and a more game opponent, somebody that's inside that top 10 echelon, somebody like a Sergey Spivak, or maybe even somebody like a Marcin Tybura. I feel like if he can get past somebody like that, he's putting himself right into contention for the top 5 in a very, very shallow division. But I know that's a little rich.
Hey, man, not too rich for my blood. I think you kind of hit the nail on the head. Maybe would have loved to see a more, I don't want to say dominant, but the big finishes certainly demand a big jump up in level of competitions here. But like you said, it's kind of slim pickings here in the heavyweight division. You show you have a well-rounded skill set. Why not give the guy a crack? And hey, Sergey is, that is as legit heavyweight as it gets. So would love to see that step up in competition level for Mr. Buday. I think he's ready all day, every day.
All day, every day, he's going to give his opponents a bad day. Martin Buday. I mean, that's the kind of promos he should be cutting for sure. WWE Absolutely. Style to the end. Speaking of to the end, didn't take the whole fight for us to see an ending for the next bout between featherweights Muhammad Yahya and Steven all in to win. I mean, this guy's just a beast. Steven Nguyen, I called on the show last week that he was going to come out here and just outclass Muhammad Yahya, make him look like he didn't belong. But before I jump on my soapbox and just rant, Nano, what are your thoughts on this freaking crazy late stoppage?
I mean, crazy. Definitely is the word I would use there, my brother. Absolutely insane. Great performance here by Mr. Steven Nguyen, however you want to say it. Very popular name, and is going to be a popular guy here in the featherweight division. I mean, what an absolute display of striking from this guy. And unfortunate for his opponent there, and Muhammad Yahya in his backyard, fighting in front of everybody. That first round, I don't know how we got out of there. I genuinely thought it could have been stopped, literally saved by the bell, and Herzog gave him every chance and more. I really thought that could have been stopped, but an opportunity for Muhammad to really showcase his grit and his heart But again, I don't think I needed to see 5 more minutes. I knew what was going to happen. Steven Nguyen went back out there, continued to pummel him, and that eye, brother. I don't think besides Joanna Jacek's forehead, this might have been the second nastiest hematoma I've seen on top of what was already a swollen eye. Whoa, was my response. And yeah, I was saying, throw the damn towel. This guy can't see. And it's he's just a hazard at this point. I mean, that is, what more do you got to do? I mean, he's not going to go out on his own. You got to put this guy 6 feet under in Muhammad Yahya if you want to tell him, he's not giving up is what I'm trying to say here, y'all. But yeah, I mean, absolutely great performance by Steven Nguyen. The boxing was just absolutely on point. But the stop had to happen. I mean, that's just where I'll leave it, man. And I'll give it back to you, my brother. What stood out to you with this performance of the night? 50K bonus, Mr. Nguyen won himself. And do you have any bonus top of mind for this featherweight dog?
I mean, the guy is just a beast, right? Like, he looks so good out there. He looks so calm, so quick, so collected, right? Just so well composed, especially for such a young kid in this sport. And he made it look pretty easy over there against Muhammad Yahya. I thought he was going to have somewhat of a masterclass, right? But I didn't think that it was going to be to that extent, if I'm being completely honest with you. I thought he would have a little bit more, of a battle back and forth, but he outlanded his opponent almost 2-1, right? 108 to 60 strikes, 92 significant strikes to 57. And that eye was disgusting. It was so heavily swollen. Yeah, that fight could have been stopped so much sooner. The guy got dropped 7 times in the first 2 rounds. If it was boxing, it would have been stopped twice, folks. And I gripe about boxing all the time and how dangerous boxing is because of the standing 10 count rule. But if we're going to let these guys get dropped 10 times, 7 times, like, what are we doing here, folks? What are we doing?
Like, what do you got to see?
With that being said, what do I got to see? I got to see something crazy. I got to see something nasty. I want this guy to get some rich blood, man. I want to see Steven Nguyen get tossed up to some heavier hitters. I want to see this guy fight I don't even want to say it out loud. Calvin Kattar, bro. Dude's coming off 5 back-to-back losses. He's got a great name value, and he's outside of the rankings these days. But if you beat him, you got to think you're on a short list of people who deserve to be on the rankings very soon. Outside of that, I mean, again, there's a number of different ways that you can go with this. Juicy J is another name that comes to mind for me, as well as Edson Barboza. Or no, Edson Barboza, sorry, he has a match. I didn't realize he had a match against Ricard Close. Hell, you can give him the loser of that, though. That'd be a fun match, too.
Yeah, timing is everything. Not a bad idea. I definitely like those names, and I think we're in similar ballparks, though we do have different names. This guy, the last pirate, put a whooping on our boy, Nate the Train. Talking about a Morgan shot, yeah. Bigger, step up in competition, another great striker. I mean, you put 2 strikers together, I think we're going to be in for a good showing, y'all. So I think that's where I'm leaning for this one. Again, anybody can get the smoke from a Steven Nguyen. This guy is legit. So that's my choice. I'm not mad at yours either, my brother.
Yeah, I'm not mad at that at all, bro. I think Morgan Chartier versus Steven Nguyen would be a very, very fun matchup. Full of youth. Well. Ivo Aslan is somebody that is, he's a fighter in the light heavyweight division in the UFC, but he's also a fighter that continues to fuck me when it comes to any form of betting at all. I don't think I'll bet on this guy ever again. He's supposed to be good. He's supposed to be the next big thing. He's supposed to have this power in his hands. I'm just not seeing it, bub. I'm seeing him tire out. I'm seeing him get outworked. I'm seeing him get outclassed by a Billy Elekana. And with all due respect, and I am saying with all due respect here, in a 15-minute fight, the dude landed 29 total strikes. That is, come on, dude. That's a problem, brother. It's a real problem. So I'm over it. I hate it. I'm gonna pour my shot on it, and gonna cry a little bit inside because this guy, he just continues to let me down. But hey, I said it on the show last week. I literally said it on the show last week on the prediction show with the Fight Week crew. I said, you know, my brain is telling me to pick Billy Elekana here, but my heart just wants to believe that Ibo Aslan can still do it. He can still be a guy. You know what I mean? But we're wrong. We're wrong. Sometimes it happens. It does happen. It does happen. And in other news, shout out to the cousin Ninos, aka Let's go, Grimy. Let's go. Got the claws too, baby. And I don't know if you can see him in the thing, but we got the dog tags here too.
Hell yeah.
We're kind of conned up over here, brother. I would have worn the yellow one, but that just would have been too damn warm in the office here. You know, didn't want to do that. Didn't want to do that to myself. I feel like I deserve better. With that being said, you all deserve better too. So if you're drinking, drink with us, folks. And if you're not, that's fine too. Do whatever you are doing with a smile and enjoy doing it while we're doing the show. We appreciate you being here. Cheers to you. Cheers to us. And cheers to everything that you enjoy.
Salute. Onward and upward. And I'll keep it short and sweet. Yeah, it was a boring fight.
That's right, Western Mass. That's right. We're not going to read that one out loud, but you're absolutely fucking damn right.
You know the vibes. You know damn well. You know the vibes. Yeah, man. I mean, Billy Boy just only landed 35 strikes. So we're talking about a very, very let's just call it, I mean, lackluster, for lack of a better phrase. I'm trying to be respectful here, especially coming out that last fight. You know, still a little. It was a slow burn. It was a very slow burn. You know, unfortunately, we do see this sometimes. You know, whether it's a Adesanya versus Yoel Romero, sometimes two positives end up making a really bad negative. And I think that kind of goes to what you said about Ibo Aslan, just really hard to predict. You know, we got a decent look at Billy last fight, but it was against a dog in Guskov, and you know, made it through that first round, took it on short notice. So it just, I didn't really know personally what we were going to see. I probably would have took Ibo as well, to your point. So the upside is there. The talent is there. You just want to see all these guys best showcase themselves and really put it on full display. But hey, maybe we got to give credit where it's due. And Billy Elekana being able to you know, get a win over a tough opponent like an Ibo, and to avoid the nuclear option and to still outland them. I mean, hey, you got the job done. Was it pretty? Was it sexy? No. Are you going to break the bank, make a ton more fans? Maybe not, but you got to win in the UFC. If you're Billy E, and if you're Ibo, this is definitely some good learning tape. And yeah, I'm not going to play matchmaker. I don't know what's next for these guys. You know, unranked light heavyweights that really didn't prove to me that they are worthy of, you know, making the next step up. So I'll be on high alert and cautiously optimistic about both these guys from a bet perspective. So I don't want to keep doing all these damn shots with my boy. So
Brother,
let's learn from our mistakes, y'all.
Never again. We're never betting anything. A shot, a dollar, a penny on Ibo Aslan. It's just not happening. Shout out Grimy here, doing the best social experiment you'll ever hear here. Man said last time I was streaming that he's betting against Ian Parker, only betting against Ian Parker to see if he hits, because this guy always loses bets. He said, so my betting against Ian Parker paid off literally. I only bet against his money line picks. He picked Rob and Krylov for 5 units. I'm up big. Thanks, Ian. That's fire, bro. That's fire and money. So, bro, let's go.
It's good to hedge.
Let's go. Love that.
Great stuff, Grimy.
And man, oh man, I don't even really care to talk about this fight. It was boring. It was tiresome. Both guys looked exhausted in the second round. Like, we're talking about the upper echelon of the sport, and you got guys that are tired in there after 6 minutes. And
with 10 rounds, with 10 strikes landed in that first round.
I would understand if like you threw like 50, 70, 80 strikes that landed, but brother, you landed 10 strikes, dog. Like, what are you doing here? you playing patty cake? Like children? What's happening?
Is this a spa? Is this a spa?
Was this a spa? We at the spa? I thought we came to spa. Yeah, this was a tough fight. I'm not gonna play matchmaker for Billy Elekana. I don't know if you care to.
Nah,
do you have a name that you're dying to say?
Not necessarily. Again, I wish I would have saw a little bit more, but I think we'll just keep it moving. Certainly, we'll watch them. That's what we do. But yeah, I can't reward them for that outing. Yeah, so we're gonna leave it to the fantasy, the MMA gods, the old and the new.
Goats. Leave it to the goats. Now on this next fight, I think you obviously would have chosen Ricci because you have her in your fantasy league.
That would be correct.
It's a fair pick. I did choose Hebus. I thought that she was going to be the stronger girl. I thought that she was going to land the more significant strikes, and boy, oh boy, was she up until she wasn't. Now I'm going to do a shot on this one, but I'm not going to do it right now. We'll do that later on, because I also know that you would have chosen the significantly younger man in Damon Blackshear, and I chose Davey Grant. So we can just parlay those together when we talk about the next fight. We'll let the first one settle there. And while that one settles, I'll jump into this. Look, Amanda Hebus, like I said, she looked really good up until the very moment that she didn't. She was landing really, really strong straight shots down the pipe, and she was also landing early kicks. Like she was opening up on the feet. And I mean, what it all boils down to, my friends, is that she got caught. It happens. She was coming in, she got caught. Tabitha Ricci looked very strong. And also, I got to say, like, I thought Ricci was going to be the one that would be the aggressor with the grappling. Hebus was actually trying to get that grappling on her, bro. She failed 2 out of 3 takedowns, but she also hit that little hip snap toss there and looked really nice doing it. It was just a little bit too late in some of these cases. And I feel like once Tabitha Ricci really turned on, like really like flipped into gear, it was the beginning of the end for Hebus, because she just couldn't stop the flow of pressure coming towards her at that point. And she wilted under set pressure. Nano, what surprised you, if anything, about this fight? Or did it go exactly as you thought it would?
No, I mean, I knew it was going to be tough, man. I guess that finish was surprising, right? You don't typically see something like that, but hey, one shot can change it all. And man, that first round, as a Baby Shark, Tabitha Ricci fan, and even as a Amanda Hebus fan, let's call it what it is. I like both these women, big fans of them both. I would have had a really hard time breaking it down, but obviously I chose Baby Shark here for my UFC fantasy season. I felt good about her going out there as a younger fighter with that grappling, with that wrestling pedigree. And that strength. I think that was really the big difference maker. She was more physically imposing, though Amanda did have her moments in that first round. Again, I was worried. She outlanded Baby Shark. Amanda did, and she actually scored the takedown of the round. So arguably was winning and won that first round. And then you quickly changed the tide in this second round, where Tabitha really started to, I feel like, find her distance a little bit more. She started cutting off the octagon more, trapped Amanda onto the fence. And again, to be able to generate that much power from up close like that, one elbow to the dome, Amanda did not like that. She folded, and that was really the beginning to the end of the fight. Absolutely stunning performance here by Tabitha Baby Shark Ricci. I mean, getting finishes here against ranked opponents in the strawweight division. What more can you ask for? At least if I'm Dana White and Brash, I'm seeing a Baby Shark. I'm seeing money signs. Okay, I am loving everything I'm seeing, and I'm gonna keep saying it, man. The sky's the limit for this girl. I mean, you have that kind of strength, you have that kind of now pedigree, stacking up wins against these types of women. I mean, whew. I'm excited, man. Again, I'm gonna try and get off my high horse here, but I was very, very pleasantly surprised with the outing. And I hope Amanda could bounce back too. She did look good. It just can't win them all, right? Can't win them all. Anything else I got to you, my brother? And do you have any names top of mind here for Miss Baby Shark?
Yeah, man. I mean, you summed it up pretty well. Like, I don't think anything else stood out to me. I think it was just, again, like as soon as she turned on that pressure, it was like a torrential downflow of pressure, like a waterfall coming onto her, and Ribas just couldn't withstand the pressure, so she wilted. It would happen to most women in that division. So what should be next for the women's strawweight? Tabitha Ricci. There's two names that come to mind. One is a rematch, and one is a match that has never happened. Of course, I'm talking about a rematch with Yan Xiaonan. That fight only happened 2 fights ago for Yan, but Yan is also coming off of a loss after that to Virna Jandiroba. And the other name, you may have guessed it after you heard that, is Virna Kakara Jandiroba, folks. I think that's the fight that makes the most sense. If we're not going to put her in there with the champion, like put her in there with Tabitha Ricci, who's more than earned her spot up there in the top 5.
Wow. I like that name a lot, my brother. I love it. Why not, right? I mean, why not give the new shiny toy a chance to go out there and make a name for herself, right? As she is continuing to do. I would not mind any of those names. I honestly thought it made sense potentially for an Amanda Lemos as well. Sitting there at the 4th spot. We got to assume, I don't think the rankings have updated yet, so we got to assume
Amanda Lemos is matched up with Tatiana Suarez right now.
Ooh, well, shit. Well, there goes the 2 names I was thinking about. Okay.
Those, trust me, those, if I'm being honest, those were the first 2 names that came to mind because I thought stylistically those would be very fun matches.
Couldn't agree more with you. That could be a main event. It can be a fight night main card, pay-per-view main card. You could do a lot with that. I guess just to throw out another name, just to be a contrarian here, but Miss Mackenzie, how you darn? She just beat an Amanda Ribas as well. Could also make sense since everyone else is a bit tied up. It sounds like that if you're looking to get back in sooner than later, which was kind of the messaging Baby Shark gave us, was, hey, I took a long layoff. I'm healthy. Didn't take any injuries. I'm sure she's going to want to get back out there sooner than later. Maybe Mackenzie Dern. In the meantime, slowly continuing to climb those ranks, and then you see how the dust settles. Maybe get a Vernon, maybe get a crack at the top, or maybe you face the winner or loser of a Lemos versus Tatiana. I mean, all those names make sense. People think with Baby Shark, she's entered the chat. She's now in the conversation for these title contenders that we're all discussing here. So love to see it.
Facts, brother. Spitting facts as always, Jive Turkey. Speaking of spitting facts, I was spitting facts. If you tuned in last week with me and Cross, when it came down to this bantamweight bout between dangerous Davey Grant and Demon the Monster Blackshear. I'll be honest, boys, it looks like the Monster only had a 5-minute leash on him before he had to get put back in the cage on Saturday. Because let me tell you, he came to play in that first round. I'm not going to lie. Like, what, 4 minutes, 3.5 minutes of control time racked up in that first round alone? Holy smokes, was he on top of him like white on rice. Like, it was just easy money for him to get that takedown and stick on top of him. Now, I said in my breakdown last week, he would look to get the takedowns early. He'd have a hell of a time getting him down, and even harder of a time keeping him down. And if and when he fails to get and take him down, dangerous Davey Grant's probably going to start ripping the body, my boy, because that's what he does. He comes in there with this classic boxer stance, ha, 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 and he starts just fucking getting at it, Ha, ha, ha. It's nasty, bro. Yes, those are the sounds I make in sparring, not just when I'm in Wolverine mode. But no, he rips the body, and it's so nice to see, dude. So I loved this fight for him. I thought it was a great style matchup because, again, he's dangerous. He's dangerous on the ground. The nickname, the pun intended, my boy. He ripped the body, and then he went up top. And something that stood out, because I always ask you this question when I pass it to you, right, is what stood out to you? What did you learn? What shocked you the most? I'll answer all those questions in one. What surprised me, what stood out to me, what I learned the most about him is he's improving every single fucking fight out there. The dude is 41 years old. He's an old man in a young man's sport. And he should be 10 years past his fucking expiration date, damn near. But here he is getting better. He kept doing this combo that I really liked, where he'd back up a step, jump in, just tap the body with a quick poke. And right as he poked the body, he'd come over the top with a looping hook, and then he'd finish to the fucking inside of the leg or the outside of the leg with the same side. Brother, every time he did that combo, I'd be lying if I said my nipples weren't at least a little bit hard. Like, come on. It was a Muay Thai man's just wet dream. That combo was nasty stuff. And I mean, the only thing I was happier to see than that is seeing Lane in the chat. How you doing, Lane? Hope you're having a great night, my friend. Always love seeing you here. Hope you enjoyed the fights on Saturday. It was a nice early morning card. Any other time, I would have loved that because Comic-Con isn't any other time. But instead, I was dressed up in full costume, the blue and yellow as Wolverine. Had a bunch of little kiddos walking up to me and making me want to cry with how excited they got, man. Grown men as well, which was also great. Gentlemen, ladies, friends, and foes, we are fucking here. Let's go, Leroy.
Leroy.
Bet your fucking ass we're here, bub. Let's go.
The party's now started. Let's go.
Let's go. You're actually just in time for a shot, brother, because I saved one and Nano's got one. Luckily, we didn't bet shots on the rest of these other than like the main event, so we're good to go after this. And we also got a lot of them right after this. But man, the dangerous one, Davey Grant. May he forever remain dangerous. He's an absolute beast. They asked him who he wanted next, and I mean, the ultimate company man answer, folks. The ultimate company man answer. Dude leans in and he's like, I'll do whatever Dana and Shelby want to see me do. Fuck it. He's like fucking just game, dude. He's fucking game. Man. No, my hard nips don't make me sad. They make me happy, man. I was happy. I was happy watching those. My goodness, was I happy watching those. All right, I'm pouring this up for Dangerous Davey Grant. I mean, technically, it's for the one that I got wrong, but I'd rather say I'm doing it for Dangerous Davey Grant. Oh, no. You got one ready, brother?
Damn straight.
Back in the saddle again. All right, folks. Leroy, I know you got one poured up, brother. Anybody else? Buster Mass? We're looking at you, folks. Cheers to you, to another night with the crew, and keep it on going and keep it on growing, folks. Let's go. Let's keep it going.
Salud.
All right. Just sat down at a schooner at a new local. Good timing. Or just sat down for a schooner at a new local. Good timing. Just curious. Am I batting 100 and head-to-head this season of the comp? I think you are, actually. I think you are. Salute, Lane. Salute. I'm in the middle of a beautiful beverage. I love that, man. I can't wait till you get to the end of that beautiful beverage and then fill it up with another one. Miss Mary, what's up? Hope you're doing great. Welcome, Leroy. Hello, everyone. Hello to you. Hello to you. Hope you're having a great night. Now, Nano, I got to hear your thoughts on this fight because I know you would have picked Damon. But my goodness, you got to tell me, how exciting was it to see our boy?
Man, to see Father Time get turned back a little bit, always a great feeling. I will happily be wrong here for a Davey, still a little dangerous Grant. And it's funny, too, because I've been hearing that all week at work as we're learning and getting ready to get back on the phones as a eager salesman. One thing my manager kept saying is, hey, man, you just got to know enough to be dangerous out there. Okay, don't worry about knowing it all. We just need you to know enough to be dangerous. And boy, is Davies, he knows just enough to be dangerous. I think that is the moral of the story and the expression I'm going to go with here to really just summarize Mr. Grant and his ability to weather that storm. I mean, Damon was the monster in that first round. I really thought that was going to be how it was going to go. But Davey, man, he had a game plan and he stuck to it and he stuffed those takedowns. And like you mentioned, strung together some really good combinations, ending it with a leg kick, with a body shot, things that just really had Damon compromised, not in a good spot, right? And getting him frustrated, getting him off his mark. I think you typically see the grappler, come out victorious, but man, was it good to see a striker go out and do what he does best and say, screw your grappling, screw your wrestling. I'm going to go out and be dangerous. I loved every minute of it. It was a great fight. I mean, yeah, shocking. I mean, for a Damon, you really got to look at this and, find a way to level up. A Davey Grant is a dog by no means am I trying to discredit what he did there, but you got to go out there. You got to take care of business. You can't be losing these kind of fights if you have high aspirations. So it's a good learning lesson for Mr. Blackshear. But if I'm Davey and you want to answer the bell, and if I'm the UFC brash, why not put together some badass 38-year-old, basically 40-year-old against another 40-year-old, battle of the 40-ish guys. I'm talking about a Hayoni Barcelos, another absolute dog in the division. Those guys would make a sweet, sweet dance. And it does take two to tango. Give me your thoughts, brother, and any of the names top of mind on your end.
Man, I'm trying to catch my breath after that. That's a
good one, right?
Good name drop, brother. I'm not mad at that at all. Like, not even a little bit. Hayoni Barcelos.
Fun ass fight, dude.
That's a fun shout. God, that's a fun shout. Oh man, I'm trying to think of a name to top that now because my original name was just not as good.
You can take it. It's fine. Keep it as is.
My original name was not as good. Hayoni Barcelos is a great name. It's a great shout. I'll be honest. I'm just gonna stick with the first name that I had written down. It was the loser of the main event or co-main event. Sorry, Marcus McGee. I think stylistically, these guys would be a fun matchup. They're just both going to go forward, crash into each other, and throw fucking just wits to the other end of the cage and throw heaters at each other, smokers at each other, I dare I say. Crossover MMA, folks. What is up, Cross? Yo, awesome costume, Olin, my guy. As Miss Mary said, it's not a costume anymore, Cross. It's who I am these days. And listen, folks, if you're not already, make sure you go on over to Crossover MMA's channel, subscribe, smash that bell for notifications. And hey, if you don't go over there and like his last few videos, hit him with a couple of comments. You might just get the business in for these claws, Bob. Let's go. Come on. Make sure you show that guy some love. He is fantastic. And the dude is just a good person and great breakdowns. You go for the breakdowns, you stay for the good conversation, man. He's a great dude. Now, Nano, what do you think of that matchup, man? What do you think of the Gorgonite here? Archer, emissary of the Gorgonites.
I honestly do think that's a good matchup. Why not reward a Davey Grant? And I think the logic behind someone like a Marcus McGee is, hey, good chance Damon Blackshear was pretty close to getting a crack at a top 15, borderline top 25 guy.
If he wins, they push him to top 10. They wanted that kid to grow fast.
So you could definitely make sense of the idea that Davey Grant takes that hype train and runs with the opportunity. I mean, he earned it, right? He went out there, you beat the guy that was probably going to get the nod. Give it to me. I want that same opportunity. If I'm Davey Grant, that is. So I like it, brother. Not a bad choice whatsoever. Give yourself some more credit.
I appreciate you, brother. And what else I appreciate is a quick knockout, a quick finish, and a quick time of your boy being correct. I had to take Muslim Salikhov, the king of Kung Fu. And I mean, he made the breakdown easy for us. He made the call out easy. I mean, he made what's next easy. He made everything easy for us. This is what we love as a show. A fighter like Muslim Salikhov. He went out here against a roided up Carlos Leal. I've said it before. I'll say it again. I'll say it every single freaking time, folks. The guy's on so many roids. You could play Connect the Dust with that back knee he has, man. It's bad stuff. But that being said, jokes aside, right? He went out there and got finished. He charged forward, reckless abandon, didn't take the power of Muslim Salikhov seriously at the old ripe age that he is. There was a 10-year age gap between these two guys, I believe. And my freaking goodness, did it not show. If you've ever watched Rocky, right? I'm sure you've heard the phrase, the power's the last thing to go. That's actually a fact in combat sports. We're seeing it more and more often lately as we see this go on, as we see these older guys stay in there. And Muslim is no exception to that, right? The power's going to be the last thing to go, but the best thing for him is he still got the speed, bro. He's still got the precision. He's still got the timing. He's still got so many things. He's still got the assets to make these things happen, bruv. And it's just perfect. Step back, fucking right on the chin. Doesn't even follow up. Doesn't even think about following up. As soon as he connects, he's like, yeah, he's out. And again, like I remember those days in sparring, right? You land a good shot and you're like, I'm going to let this guy recover. Right? And that's when you're going soft because like I can only imagine hitting that kind of knockout on somebody in a professional fight. And like when you connect, you just know, bro. It's like you've played other sports a lot, Nano. Like you're playing QB on beach football. You throw that perfect spiral. The second it leaves your fingers, you know, bro. You're like, bro, Scott is about to fucking catch that. And all the fucking people watching us right now on the beach are going to go nuts because it's perfect. That was exactly what this was. It was a perfect thrown spiral. If you're watching football, it was a perfect strike on the goal. If you're watching football across the pond, as we call it, soccer, either way, no matter how you sum it up, whatever analogy you want to use, it was perfect. And then the call out was perfect too, bro. Like, I'll toss it to you as I say it. He called out Stephen Wonderboy Thompson. And I mean, how did this sport start? Your martial art versus my martial art. The king of kung fu versus the karate kid. Brother, sign me up. Headline a fucking Apex card with that one, please, God. Because I want to hear the strikes. I want to hear everything.
And to see it in the smaller cage, that will be quite an interesting matchup. Yeah, I mean, I'll keep it short and sweet. What a freaking knockout by Muslim Salikhov. Right on the freaking tip of the iceberg, right on the crown of the forehead. It's all she wrote for Carlos Leal, who honestly looked pretty scared, looked intimidating. I was ready to see a really good matchup, but couldn't even handle the early barrage from a king of kung fu. And yeah, hey, king of kung fu versus the king of karate. That being, Stephen Wonderboy Thompson. I know he has his reservations about being the karate kid, maybe the karate man. Now that he is a 40-year-old, guess that deserves some sort of manliness somewhere. But yeah, 240-some-year-olds that still got a lot of bite left in him, a lot of bark left in that dog. Love to see that matchup. I think it's a really good pick. Again, I love when they make it easy for us. You call someone out, it makes sense. Just do it. Come on, let's see it. So I agree, brother.
100%, man. Especially if the call up makes sense. It makes sense in this case. You got to give the man what he asked for, and I don't think Stephen Wonderboy Thompson would be too against the idea of it. Now, Leroy proposes a great question here. Would you both rate the last two main cards out of 10 each? It's tough because, right, like if you look at the main card here, there was one finish. If you look at the main card last week, there were 0 finishes. The total card last week, it's a higher score than the main card last week, but I would say overall that main card probably got a 7 out of 10. I have definitely seen better main cards. If we're ranking it on a fight per fight basis, there were 10 out of 10 fights on that card, right? Like Dustin Poirier versus Max Holloway didn't go the way I wanted it to go, but I would say that was a 10 out of 10 fight for the excitement, the feels, the stakes, everything was there. And then if you talk about the fights this weekend, I would almost beg to say the same exact thing. I would say 7, maybe 7.5 out of 10 for this week's main card, just because there was that finish. I'd give it that half point kind of decisive decibel above. But even then, like the finish is a fight that I would give an 8 out of 10 or a 7 out of 10, right? The main event fight, I would give a 9 out of 10 over that, even though it was a decision. And I thought the decision went the wrong way, but I digress. We'll get into that a little bit later. Nano, what are your thoughts on that question? What would you rate those two cards out of 10?
Yeah, great question, Leroy. I definitely feel similar to you. I think UFC 318 on paper was a 9 out of 10. Probably ended up being closer to like a 7.5, 8. And then this card felt not as big. I think I was mostly concerned with that main event, which all in all, I think on paper, probably a 7 out of 10. And then I think it probably still fell somewhere near that, maybe 7. Some fun performances, but it just didn't really have that same notoriety, the same star power as it did as UFC 318. I mean, that was a star-studded main event, though some of those fights were not what I expected. I just think I'd give that edge to 318 a little bit, but this one exceeded my expectations. I would also add that in there as well.
Yeah, same, bro. I would say that this exceeded expectations, but again, I would rate them roughly the same. Now, I was wrong about this next fight. I also did not want to bet on it. I didn't want to bet shots on it. I didn't want to bet anything on it. It was Said Nurmagomedov in the bantamweight division coming in against Bryce Mitchell. Manowitz. Nano, I'm going to let you take the lead on this one. What were your thoughts on this fight coming in, because you didn't get to break it down, and then what played out differently than what you anticipated?
I mean, Bryce getting the W. I'll be honest. I definitely did not see that coming. I thought Said Nurmagomedov was going to have his number. I didn't think the grappling was going to be that much of an issue. And I thought with the weight cut and just obviously all the antics that Bryce kind of has and is unfortunately associated with outside of the octagon, I just had a feeling that Said was going to go out there and be able to get it done. And he really outlanded him. I mean, when we're talking the striking differential, it was 100 strikes for Said to only Bryce's 40. But the grappling was the start all, end all, be all when it comes to what this matchup was. You know, that second round was really definitive for Bryce. Third round, closer. Man, I thought Said still had an opportunity. I was a little shocked to see Bryce's hand go up, but again, makes sense when you just break it down and you kind of know how things are scored. Hate it or love it, you know, Bryce might have found a new home here in the bantamweight division, but I frankly was surprised. I ain't gonna lie to you. Was there anything that stood out to you stylistically, or maybe some things you might have saw, you know, maybe leading into it, or was this also a shock for you?
It was a shock to me. And here's the thing, like it comes down, and I hate that this feels very repetitive for the channel, guys. I'm sorry, we're gonna have the same discussion again here. It comes back down to, like, do we really weight grappling control over damage and striking? Because if we do, then Bryce handily won that last round. He had 4 minutes and 11 seconds of control time against the cage or on top. And if we look at the strikes, he landed 8 out of 11 attempted strikes compared to 27 out of 31. And he landed 0 significant strikes to 2. If you look at round 2, he got outlanded 31-10. And he got almost 4 minutes of control time. If you look at round 1, he got outlanded 42-21. And he got the same control time, or just 10 seconds apart from Said Nurmagomedov. So if we're weighting it on grappling, yes, Bryce won that fight. The judges did the right thing. I don't know. I need you to make it make sense, man. Like, last time I heard, we're supposed to weight things on damage and the more damaging strikes. And if that's the case, and we're in fucking Abu Dhabi, by the way, I thought Said did enough to win, especially with the dropping in the first round. Second round was pretty much dead even when it came down to it. I don't know, man. I thought the judges got 2 fights wrong this fight card, and this was number 1, folks. I feel bad for Said, because I thought that he did enough, but I digress. Bryce did look good out there. The biggest mistake Said made was letting him recover after dropping him in that first round. I'd have made him stand right back up and just fought with him on the feet, because he was hurting him on the feet in that first round. Now, with that being said, Nano, the guy that won landed 39-100 strikes, 13-20 significant strikes, but he did get 3-0 on takedowns over the Dagestani. So I say this, Nano, send him 2-3 years to Arkansas and forget. And do you have a name on the tip of your tongue for this guy?
I think I do. And I don't necessarily feel the need to throw Bryce to a ranked opponent. Like, we could draw the line there. But someone like a Charles Auriordan, sitting at 27 years young, both are itching closer to trying to get into that conversation. I think that's a good litmus test. Someone in that range. I don't know how much higher I would go, right? A Davey Grant just won. He's sitting at that 20 spot. I mean, Said was ranked number 19 here according to Tapology. So do you all of a sudden enter Bryce into that top 15 eliminator? I just don't know. I would like to see a little bit more. That was a good win over a tough opponent here in a new weight division. But just because you change weight divisions, I don't think that all of a sudden grants you any special treatment. I think you still got to go out there, string together some wins. I think a Charles Auriordan on paper could be a really fun matchup. Curious to your thoughts, if there's anyone else top of mind, or if I'm maybe being too conservative with the Bryce Mitchell.
No, I think you're right on the money, man. I think Charles Aerojourdain is a great play. I think it's a great pick, and I think that'd be a great fight on paper for the fans to enjoy. The other names that I had written down are like you just said it yourself, we saw the man fight the same night. Dangerous Davey Grant. I think that's a solid shout. And if we wanted to be a little bit more bullish on the picks here, right? If we wanted to give him to a top 15 ranked opponent, maybe we give him a Montel Quick Jackson, the bantamweight that needs to wear larger gloves than Francis Ngannou.
I like that. That is another good matchup, my brother.
He's right on that number 15 ledge. He's pushed down one rank this week. I think it's a fun shout. I think it'd be a fun matchup. I think it'd be a fun one, man. Gentlemen, I tip my hat. Au revoir. Leroy, have a great night, my friend. We're glad you were able to join for as long as you were, bro. And we hope you're adjusting well to the new area, or rather new old area. Leroy, thanks for the welcome. I'm used to it by now. Yeah, welcome to the elite, my guy. Now with that, we move into the main card, folks.
It's time
for us to get into this light heavyweight bout between Nikita Krylov and Bogdan Guskov. I said it last week. I said back and forth is what I'm going on this one. I thought Bogdan Guskov was either going to crash forward or Nikita Krylov was going to show his veteranship and sink in a submission. Instead, it was a KO early in 4 minutes and 18 seconds of the very first round by Bogdan Guskov, coming out there, making it look pretty damn easy every time. Sarevich, Bogdan Guskov was landing. It looked like it was doing damage. It looks like it was hurting Nikita Krylov. And what it all boils down to, again, folks, is it's that straight right, man. The straight right was just landed down the pipe. The straight right was money. And if you know anything about me, you know I love the straight right. It is just a tried and true weapon. We've seen it for the last 100+ years. If you look at boxing, the straight right, it's the second thing you learn after the jab, right? So he was landing that at ad nauseum. He dropped him with one. He followed up, and that's all she wrote. Nano, what stood out to you? Did anything surprise you? Or are you all in on the Anthony Smith doppelganger?
I am now, and that was really hard to deny somebody when you're going out there and you're just continuing to put on performance after performance, highlight victory after highlight victory. And I hold Nikita Krylov in high regard. I mean, this is a ranked light heavyweight opponent. On paper, I mean, I thought he's very skilled. I thought he posed some legit threats to a Bogdan Guskov. And it was funny, like, as it was playing out, like, I was liking a lot of the movement early from Nikita, but then after a while, I kind of looked at it in a different light, and I'm like, man, I just feel like he's doing too much. A lot of wasted movements. Hands were dropping lower than I think we all would have wanted to see. And Bogdan from the freaking hip pocket, just a lethal right overhand. Just perfectly timed, really. Caught Nikita in between or finishing out a combination, throwing the leg kick, fully extended, hands low. I mean, that's all she wrote. Dude has nasty power. And again, he's starting to get to a point where it's just becoming undeniable. What do you do with guys like that? I mean, you got to throw them into the lion's den. You got to put them up against other guys that are in a similar spot. I'm looking, and a lot of people are fighting each other here in the top 15. So there's some things to be said there, but timing's everything. And I hate to see this for my boy Dom, but I think Dominic Reyes and Bogdan Guskov are going to have to square off here. And I don't know if I like it for my boy Dom Reyes, because this guy Bogdan is a scary individual. He looks like a hitman. I don't know if it's just because he's hairless, like a naked mole rat, but golly, the tattoos, the savageness that we're seeing from this guy. I like him, man. I like him, I'm not gonna lie. But I think Dom makes sense. Give him a top 10 guy and see where the chips lie after that. WMC, who knocks Bogdan down? I don't know, my brother. This guy is... It's going to take a lot to knock this scary individual off his high horse. So that's my name. I'm sticking to it. What do you think, brother?
I love it, man. Also, shout out WMC says I think he's going to take the day off tomorrow and watch back the best fights that he missed. Dude, I love that for you. What a stud fucking move, my guy. Yeah, I absolutely love that. I really do. And I also love the Dominic Reyes shout, bro. I think that's a solid shout, my guy. I do. But I have a different name on the tip of my tongue. I have Jamal Sweet Dreams Hill. I just because I don't want to see that from my boy Dom. I'd rather see the Sweet Dreams fight. I just think it's a fun matchup, and these guys have not fought, right? His last 3 wins, actually his last 4 wins are over Jimmy Crute, Johnny Walker, Thiago Santos, and Glover Teixeira. None of those guys are ranked these days, right? And one of them's fucking retired. So it's been a minute. He needs to be back in it, and he needs to get a little win in it. So, I mean, yeah, look, Western Mass Climbers with you. He says, Dom, maybe. I'm with you on that. Again, the only reason I don't like that is because it's my boy Dom. I don't want to see that from my boy Dom. But we can't pick with our hearts. We got to pick with our brains. So, that being said, folks, we move into the flyweight division for a bout between Asu Almabayev coming in against Jose Ochoa. Jose Ochoa came into this fight 8-1. He leaves 8-2. His opponent has 3 times the fight experience, 22-3. Of course, he walked in 21-3. He walks out with the win. It is a unanimous decision win. It's crazy because he got outlanded 55-118 on this one, Nano, and his opponent just couldn't defend the takedowns. He defended half of them almost, right? 43.8% to be exact. Because Asu Almabayev just was relentless with shooting him. 16 takedowns attempted. Nano, what stood out to you in this one, Mike?
I think you hit the nail on the head, my brother. And it was that relentless pressure that Asu Almabayev went in there with. You know, you give Jose Ochoa all the credit in the world. He did take this on short notice. Asu was supposed to fight who I thought was going to make for a really, really tough matchup in a Ramazanbek Temirov. But that did not come to fruition. So you got to give Jose some props for going out there and, you know, standing 10 tones down. But, yeah, I mean, short camp, you're a striker. You're going in against a really tough, talented, and strong grappler. It was a recipe for disaster here for Jose Ochoa. But I hope he got paid out. And I don't want to hold that against him too much. But Asu is in my head, really making a path for himself to be right in with the top of these guys, right? To go up and make that next level up in competition level. I think it makes sense. I mean, he did lose to him in El Cop, so I say that kind of tongue in cheek in the sense that I do still need to see a little bit more. So I don't know if just a ranked opponent. I think all things considered, I'd be happy just seeing him fight a ranked opponent. Maybe you just run Ramazan back since they were supposed to fight. Brito Silva's not bad either at a 14. Shoot, I'm gonna keep mentioning this guy's name, Kai Asakura. I just want to see him get back in there as soon as possible. Actually, he already has a fight coming up. I sound silly. I'm gonna go back to my original statement here and just give him Ramazan. That was what was supposed to happen. 2 ranked guys, I think makes sense. Would you prefer Asu to fight someone else? Obviously, I'm saying all this without knowing timelines or if there's an injury that might prevent it. But what are your thoughts on what's next for an Asu Almabayev?
So I'll be honest with you, man. I get what you're saying, right? He just needs to fight a ranked opponent after this kind of performance. He's ready for it. He's game for it. He's deserving of it, dare I say. But here's the thing.
Nice. That is the thing.
You know what I'm saying?
That's the thing.
Here's the thing. No, I completely agree with you. I think he does deserve somebody that's ranked. But here's the thing. I'm not going to play the picture again. We have Amir Albazi that just came off of a loss very recently. Trajectories line up. He's ranked ahead of him by 2 spaces. I think that's a fight that's a lot of fun. They've never actually even been scheduled to fight each other. So that's another fun nod. I think if both guys can make it to the cage, that's a very fun fight. Other than that, I really like the Kai Asakura shout. That's another name that I obviously had down. I'm going to mention that name until we see him in there again. I just think the guy is a lot of fun. I know he's scheduled currently against Tim Elliott. I know. It's August 16th. But I'm just saying, if something happens, you can slot him in there. With that being said, we move on into the next bout, which took place in the middleweight division. It was a bout between Shara Magomedov, Shara the Bullet, coming in against Marc-Andre Barriault, the Power Bar. And I said it last week. I feel like I was right on a lot of these fights. I just wish I would have went with my my brain instead of my heart on some of these picks that I finalized for the underdogs competition. With that being said, I was on Shara Magomedov. I did think he was going to get this fight, but I did not think it was going to be easy. I thought it would go to the decision, and I thought that Marc-Andre Barriault would give him a lot more wear and tear than he was expecting to come in and receive from the young man. The guy was throwing hammers. The guy was throwing lead. The guy was throwing powerful right straight hands down the pipe. I also stated last week in my breakdown that I thought the footwork was going to be the great divide, the great differentiator between these two gentlemen. And guess what, folks? It was. That was, lo and behold, the biggest game changer for Shara Magomedov. And he has to have that, right? He has one eye. And that's also something that I pointed out last week that showed in the fight to pay dividends for Power Bar. When they were in that clinch, right? He would let go with the hand on the side facing Shara's blind eye and then boom, 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 slice in those hooks and elbows. And it was nasty stuff. He shattered the nose of Shara Bullet. And he looked like a bullet crashing in on those things, bro. It was nasty. Nasty work. I say no. But what were your thoughts? What surprised you, if anything, about this fight?
The big surprise for me, and not that it's too surprising, but man, is Marc-Andre Barriault just an absolute savage. Like, that guy has heart up the wazoo, tough as nails, and they put on a great show. I think that, not to, anything's possible, but if you were to tell me that was going to be fight of the night, I would have said, wow, it must have been closer than I thought. I would have assumed Shara Bullet was going to run away with it, but Marc-Andre sat in the pocket. He weathered the storm. He stuck to his game plan. He was still able to score some takedowns throughout the first and second round. But then, even if you maybe feel it was pretty close, pretty competitive, 1 and 2, maybe you split it just for layman's sake here, Shara Bullet really put it on him on that third round. And I love seeing a definitive third round win. And not out of desperation, not because, hey, you need to knock him out third round, go out there and leave it all out. It was like, no, he put on a good fight. He being Shara Bullet, and then ended it with an exclamation point. That's what really excited me. The clinch work was nasty. Ripping the body, going up top, knocking down his opponent, and ending it like that was just a really good, lasting memory here for a Shara Bullet. I do not like the guy, right? I mean, gosh darn it, he has one eye. Like, come on, man. And I will say that beard was looking extra red, extra fierce. I don't know if he dyed it or he put some oils in there, but that thing was fire.
Comic character.
It was a very impressive. And that's what he is. He's an impressive fighter. The loss to MVP, I think, kind of stunned a lot of us, but he still should be getting those types of caliber opponents. And there's two individuals, both hailing from the country of Brazil. Well, they mean business. I'd love to see a Shara Bullet against a Bruno Ferreira, potentially. Or a freaking, just because of the names here, hear me out, Shara Bullet versus RoboCop. Ooh, baby. I think just saying it, I kind of sold myself on it. I think that might be the match to make. What are your thoughts, and do you have any names top of mind for Shara Bullet?
Man. That's a fun. That RoboCop one is definitely a fun one. But what I can't help but think is that we're just gonna need a dance partner to keep somebody busy while they're waiting on the fight with Khamzat, right? Win or lose against DDP. We know a man that wants that fight, and his name, as we like to call him, is Sikana Juice. Paulo Costa versus Shara Magomedov. I think that fight has fireworks written all over it. You've got the pretty boy versus the antithesis, like the opposite of a pretty boy, right? Like, The seams. That can headline the next Middle East card.
Shit. You're right about it. You know that. That is a great matchup, brother. That is a great matchup. I'd love to see Shara Bullet get an opportunity to get in the top 15. So for that alone, sign me up. And I hope there's not a single takedown in that fight. I hope we get pure violence. That is, wow.
Yeah, I don't think either guy would shoot a takedown in that fight. Now this next fight, I was wrong, folks. I was wholeheartedly wrong on this one. It was Petr Yan coming to the bantamweight division against Marcus the Maniac McGee. He's a maniac all the floor. Oh man, I'm 5'7", but my wife thinks that I'm 5'9". Man.
Sav Jelly coming in hot from the top row. We see you.
Let's go, Sav Jelly. I told myself I wasn't going to do a shot on this one for being wrong, but I'm going to do a half shot because Sav Jelly's here.
I'm with you.
Folks, this fight, I was very bullish on Marcus McGee. I knew that his opponent is tough and that, he has a lot more game opponents that he's fought. But that being said, I just thought that the power of Marcus McGee and the less wear and tear on Marcus McGee were going to prove to be the right things. The right stuff. But they weren't. They just weren't. Instead, he got sweep takedown after sweep takedown, after kick, after punch, after poke, after prod from the man, the myth, the legend, Petr Yan. I shouldn't have bet against him, but I did. Salute, Sav Jelly, and everybody else in the chat. Cheers to you. Cheers to us. Cheers to all the fuss and the muss. We're only the first day into the week, but man, we're going to make this week creak as we break through. Let's go, kids.
Salute.
Fucking own the week. Now, take the lead on this one. Tell the people, what were your thoughts on Marcus McGee? Petr Yan.
Man, my thoughts going into it were, I was honestly unsure of what we were going to see here. My thought was, why do you make a number 2 ranked guy fight the number 13 unless you see something maybe that we don't see on paper? And that scared me a little bit. You typically see that, and honestly, most recently was a Brandon Royval versus Joshua Van, and we saw how that went. So I was a little worrisome. I thought, okay, what is the UFC doing here? Do they see Marcus McGee as that next potential title contender? Then I took a quick step back and I put on some Petr Yan boxing highlights, and I remembered, this guy is still one of the cleanest, most technically sound boxers pound for pound in the UFC. And it became harder and harder for me to see a path to victory for Marcus Maniac McGee, though the name certainly suggests he always has a puncher's chance. I just had a feeling it was going to be with, I guess the fight was going to consist of Petr Yan dictating where it was going to go, where it was going to be. And just watching them move in that first round, I thought, man, Peter's just so gosh darn slick. He's moving in and out really well. He's establishing the jab. And then when it was inside, fighting in that phone booth, so to speak, Yan's just so clean with his head movements, landing those uppercuts that were just pestering Maniac McGee. Kind of got him on his back foot. Not a knockdown, but certainly a startling punch, something that he felt, and became slowly more and more gun shy as the fight went on. But again, it's really because Petr Yan just put on a masterclass when it comes to the boxing. His space, his hand positioning, his hands never left the jaw or temple area, and still using his hips and his legs to feint and to keep his opponent at bay. Again, really, really great performance. Vintage Petr Yan-esque here, which is why I chose him as my fantasy fighter for this season. I liked the matchup on paper, and with that kind of win, he's going to want to get back out there sooner than later and try to get a crack at the title. He fought Merab, didn't he, if I'm not mistaken?
He did. Merab shot 36 takedowns on him, if memory serves me correct. Hold on, there's no way I actually got that right. I need to look that up. Hold on.
You might be right.
If it's
So I think he set the record on that fight, if I'm not mistaken.
49. Holy fuck.
I think he set the record. Yeah, I think that was the record setter. Jeez.
Oh, man, I was off by 13. Goddamn, 49 attempted takedowns is nasty work. He landed 11 of those, by the way. And that fight was not that long ago. That was just 2 short years ago, March 11, 2023, UFC Fight Night. Yan versus Davashvili. Yeah, I'm not mad at that, man. That's a fun one. That is definitely a fun one. Western Mass asked us which fights he should go back and watch based on our recommendation. Nano, I threw these in the chat. Let me know if there's any I missed or if you'd recommend anything different. So I said Yan versus McGee, Rob versus RDR, Shar versus MAB, Krylov versus Guskov, Muslim versus Leal, Hebos versus Ricci, and Grant versus Damon.
Yeah, honestly, those are definitely the ones. Yan versus McGee. I mean, if you want to see some good boxing, good, well-rounded fight, that's one. Luckily, we kept it short for you. Krylov, don't need too long. Muslim, don't need too long. Yeah, man. And then Grant, I mean, that was probably the most shocking and just one of the best performances of the night in Mr. Davey Grant there. So good call out. Wouldn't steer him any other direction.
And the Muslim one, I feel like, was especially just like a chef's kiss moment because, like, it's very often, I mean, not very often, but it's common, I would say, fairly common that we see the check left hook land and get a sweet finish, but a backing out check right, it's not super often. And it was nasty, nasty work, man. Just the switch stance, the step back, like it was every single thing about that Muslim Salikhov knockout was just poetic, man. It was poetic to see. Now what was not poetic to see? Robert Whitaker coming in against RDR Renier in the main event of the evening, folks.
It's time
for us to do our last shot of the show and talk about the most upsetting fight of the night. It's going to be a common thing, right? Do we weight damage? Do we weight total strikes? Do we weight takedowns? Do we weight control time? Like, what wins rounds? That is what the question is more often than not, right, folks? And that's just another question that we're going to have to ask when it comes to this main event fight between Renier de Ridder and Robert the Reaper Whitaker, as we like to call him, Bobby Nux. I mean, I'll pour up my shot, and then we really got to go through this round by round, I think. Right, Nano?
That's fair. I honestly, yeah. I think it warrants it.
Because this, I feel like if you ask 100 people in a room who know the sport, I'm not saying like 100 randoms, 50 of them know the sport, 50 of them are casuals. I'm saying if you ask 100 diehards, I truly think you'd probably get 49-51 or even a 50-50 right down the middle of who they scored this for. And again, that doesn't say anything negative about those 50 people that chose the guy differently than me. That tells you there's something wrong with the scoring, right? There's too much room for wiggling, and there's too much he say, she say that's involved in it. So cheers. It's the final one to close out the shots here on the show, folks. And if you're drinking, raise one up with us. If not, that's fine too. We appreciate you for being here. If you could do us a huge favor, like, comment, subscribe, smash that bell for notifications. You know the drill. Cheers to you for that. Let's go.
We go for that. Salute.
The good stuff. Now, round number 1, Nano. Go on into it. I'll lay the stats out, and then I'll let you give the breakdown on this one first. So, significant strikes, 20-15, Robert Whitaker. Total strikes. Let's see here. Oh, wow. UFC stats changed it up. They're going head, body, leg, and distance and clinch strikes. I like this even better. So, round 1 was 20-15 on significant strikes, 19-6 in terms of head strikes, both in favor of Robert Whitaker. Renier de Ridder landed 9 compared to the 1 body strike. And if we look at these, 19-10 at distance, 1-5 at clinch. You can imagine who won which. Nano, who did you think ran away with this first round?
I thought Rob did. I thought he outlanded him, though suggests pretty or a little bit closer than at least the eyeball test showed me in that first round. And then he was able to stuff all three of the takedowns. So I thought that would have been enough to at least give Rob that first round. What about you, brother?
100%. We're in the same boat right now. Again, Renier de Ridder looked really good in the clinch, but that's all he looked good in. He did not look good at range. I said it last week when you weren't here. I'll say it now that you are here. Renier de Ridder throws punches like he's got arthritis in both arms, folks. I don't make the rules. I just play them. I thought he lost that round. I thought Robert Whittaker picked up the first round. Fairly easy, decisive round. And then round number 2, a little bit harder round to score, right? Renier de Ridder goes out there, and I mean, he looks good. He racks up some control time, right? He outlands Whittaker 16-9 and significant strikes, 12 of those to the head compared to the 8 of Robert Whittaker, 4 of those to the body compared to the 1 of Robert Whittaker. Outlanded him at distance as well, 15-9. But I digress. With all that control time he had on the top, I just feel like it was a missed opportunity. He landed 1 strike out of 2 grounded attempted strikes. Who did I give the round to? Against my heart, trying to fight back tears, I'll say Renier de Ridder, man. He won the second round. Nato, how did you score that second round?
Same as you, brother. My first takeaway as the second round started was, man, I think Rob is breathing out of his mouth already, which was cause for concern for me because, I mean, unlike Rob to see that, I mean, I think he's always been known to have a gas tank. I can't think of many more people that have fought more 5-round fights than Abu Dhabi Whittaker, the Grim Reaper, but that was concerning as it started. Obviously, the grappling must have zapped him a little bit there, even just on the defensive, right? I mean, you got this guy just grabbing your leg, rushing at you, this big old 6'4".
Over 2 minutes of control time that round.
Yeah, and I think it was kind of inevitable in some ways. You know, though Rob did a great job that first round, we all knew damn well that's all RDR was going to go out there and do for 25 minutes, and he finally started to find some success. So I definitely gave him that round. Sounds like we're on the same page so far.
Yeah, and then round 3 comes out, and again, 2.5 minutes, a little over that, so 2 minutes and 39 seconds of control time for Renier de Ridder, 32 seconds of control time for Robert Whittaker. But we look at the total strikes, and Renier de Ridder again outlands him, right? Outworks him. 51 total strikes thrown to 29 of Robert Whittaker. 21 landed for Whittaker, 32 landed for Renier de Ridder. So a difference of 11 strikes landed, which isn't huge, isn't monumental, but in a round where only 30 strikes are landed, or 32 for that matter, out of the guy that outlanded the opposition, it is a lot, right? We're talking about a hefty amount. We're talking about a third of the amount there. But then we look at significant strikes, and this is where it gets a little bit dicey. This is where we get a little bit chalky. Robert Whittaker not only outlanded him on significant strikes, 20-13, but he also got a knockdown. So I thought this was one of the easiest rounds to score. At this point, I've got Robert Whittaker going into the 4th round, up 2 rounds, winning rounds 1 and 3. Nato, am I crazy here?
No, and I think it's kind of an unfortunate situation for Rob from a scoring perspective, because this probably could have, maybe should have been a 10-8 had he have just kind of not allowed RDR to do what he did in the grappling realm, getting taken down, getting the control time. Just felt like RDR kind of inched his way back in to, in my book, even it out to like a 10-9, but that should have been a 10-8, which probably is where, you know, things go wrong for a Robert Whitaker. You got, and props to RDR for recovering. I mean, to get rocked like that and to still have your wits about you, I think maybe a missed opportunity by Rob. Again, probably lower on the gas tank. I'm sure he knows, don't want to sit here and empty the tank now, but in hindsight, probably should have, because that was his best chance to just win, is to not leave it to the judges, because now look where we are. But that was the kind of pivotal moment here in the fight, in my opinion. Pivotal round, pivotal moment. Let him back up. I think he gained a point back. I'd give it 10-9 Rob, but wasn't as dominant as it needed to be.
I agree. If he ultimately controls that round till the end, That is a 10-8 round for Rob. But because he didn't, it was a 10-9. I still got him up 2 rounds going into round number 4. And now this is where it continues to get dicey, right? Renier DeWitter goes out there and gets almost 2 whole minutes of control time, folks. Minute and 56 seconds. Outlands his opponent 37-8 in total strikes and 14-6 on significant strikes. Now, granted, right? He was landing a decent amount of those in the clinch. How significant were they? I don't know. But I'm going to pass it to my esteemed co-host here, Nano, to tell us the facts. Nano, how did you score this round number 4?
Fortunately, I just feel like I had to give it to RDR. It's tough. You know, at this point, I felt like Rob was up 2-1, but this was where, again, the tide started to turn a little bit. RDR started to land more punches. And I have to check myself here and accept a significant strike as a significant strike. Is it the sexiest strike in the world? No. Is it off balance? Is it something I'm not going to show students? You're goddamn right. There's none of that is anything that's textbook or anything that should be replicated, but that's RDR style and it fucking works for him. So it was just one of those weird ones where I got to be unbiased here and call it what it is. I think RDR edged him out, but did you feel the same way, or maybe I'm seeing it a little too rosy colored glasses here? Talk to me.
Yeah, man. I agree. Unfortunately, I thought he won this fight or this round. I thought he did exactly enough to win, nothing more, nothing less. But yeah, it was just barely edged out the round for him. I think the control time and just the slight edging over significant strikes, like I think you actually summed it up the best. I might not want to admit it, but no matter how pretty or ugly the strikes are, significant strikes are significant strikes. Those knees, I think, were what was adding up the most for him, right? The knees in the clinch when he was there, those were nasty. And he'd bait Rob because Rob, instead of throwing like straights, Rob, instead of doing this, he does this innate where he throws out the lead hand. And the second that lead hand connects, he's here. And instead of throwing just a straight down the pipe, he ducks his head and comes over the top with almost like the backside or the blunt side of his fist. And when you do that, it's great. Like one of my Muay Thai coaches, right? He would literally tell us all the time that a traditional guard is here, right? If you're here with a traditional guard, there's a triangle, right? You can see the triangle right here. There's a hole in that triangle, though. So if I throw a straight or even if I throw a hook, you can tighten up that triangle and I'm going to end up hitting your wrist just almost inevitably. But if I go around and I throw this fucking like crazy looping overhand where I come around the top, you come around, and what happens is if I'm here, you go around the top and you penetrate right through that hole and you sock me and I don't see it coming. And so like, I'm not faulting Rob. The reason I went through that detailed explanation is because I don't want you to think for a second that I'm saying this is not a great tool for the arsenal, but there's a time and a place. And, you know, you're throwing that over and over again. He was almost spamming it in that 3rd and 4th round. And because of that, he ate a handful of unnecessary knees that would not have landed if he wasn't doing this with his head off of that jab. It became there was a point in the moment, or a point in the round, I believe, and I think it was round 4, actually, this round we're talking about, where Renier almost accepted the fact that, hey, if I eat the jab, I'll land a knee. As long as I throw the knee as he's hitting me with that jab, it's gonna hit. Because the overhand's coming right after him. My knee will connect like an 1/8 of a second before him. He hit 3 times that round. So, like, timing wins fights, bro. And he started to get that timing down. And this is when I started to really worry. But I digress. We go into round 5. And Robert Whitaker had his wits about him. He definitely had started to kind of figure out the fight a little bit. But at the same time, Renier DeWitter had figured out a lot more than him. He'd figured out that the only path to victory for him to win this fight was for him to take this to the ground and stay on top. He did that for over 2 minutes, 2 minutes, 15 seconds to be exact. And he outlanded his opponent 73-11, which statistically I did not realize was the numbers, bro. Watching that 5th round, you would have told me that, I would have laughed at you. Like 7-1 on strikes is insane work. But then if we look at the significant strikes, Nano, 9-11. Wouldn't you think the bigger number would at least be for the guy that outlanded his opponent 7x?
You would definitely think, right? I mean, it makes sense.
You would think. But hey, my friend, you'd be a dry fucking turkey if you thought that, because you'd be wrong. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying, hey, come on, for the sake of jokes purposes here. Look, dude, this is insane. Sometimes the math doesn't math for these fights, and this is definitely one of those times. No. Again, it comes down to this: are we ranking this on damage, or are we ranking it on total strikes, total control time? If it's on damage, Rob won the fight 3-1 or 3-2. But Nano, how did you score the 5th round? Because I thought Rob actually landed the bigger strikes. I thought he was doing more work, and I thought that, for lack of better words, and you know I don't mind the grappling. I'm a Muay Thai guy myself, but I love grappling. It just felt like he was laying on him, bro. He wasn't trying to do a whole lot, you know?
Yeah. It was definitely more conservative. I think we all typically want to see pillar to post. You go out there, stick to a game plan, and not, I don't say take the easy way out, because again, these guys are fighters. They're doing things that we can't help but just respect. So it feels like a cop out to say, he took the easy road. But yeah, I mean, hey, he knew there was a path to victory, and he kind of doubled down there, and he secured the bag. I mean, I can't knock him for it. I mean, you have a competitive advantage over your opponent. You got to stick to it. I mean, I'm not going to knock him for that, but yeah, was it something I enjoyed watching? Not necessarily. Shout out WMC. Thank you for coming in as always. We appreciate you. Big ups as always. All the lads, much love. Get some rest, and let's make it a great week out there. But yeah, man.
Great night, brother.
Appreciate you. Like you mentioned in the comments as well, man. I mean, 9 minutes of control time. Just how do you argue it? I mean, it's.
But 0 submission attempts is wild, bro.
Well, that is true. That is true.
Like, that's the second half of that comment. Like 9 minutes plus of control time with 0 submission attempts. You're supposed to be the submission guy. Like, and I mean, realistically, 9 minutes of control time, you should have outlanded your opponent on significant strikes by more than 1. And that's the math. You had 9 minutes of control time. He had 36 seconds, and you outlanded him by 1 significant strike.
It's crazy to think about. And now just thinking of the landscape moving forward, like this really just kind of flips, in my opinion, flips the division up or over, rather. It's a weird one. It feels like a changing of the tide. I mean, both these guys are 34 years old, so it's not earth-shattering, and it's not like a true changing of the tide. But man, it just Robert's like it's our guy. It's just the UFC's guy. It's someone that I think is just regarded as one of the best ever. I mean, his run at champion was something that at that time was unprecedented. Man, it's tough. It's just simply a tough sport here, y'all. I hate being here talking about it like this, because if I'm being honest with myself, I don't even know if we see Abu Dhabi Whittaker in the octagon again. And that sounds crazy, but like,
I think we do. And I already have a name.
I hope so. Talk to me.
I got a name for him. I'll talk to you, Goose. Look, I've got a name for both of these guys. Obviously, RDR versus DDP. It's the battle of the 3-letter acronyms. It's the battle of the Dutchman, and it's the battle of the goofiest fighters in the fucking middleweight division, possibly in the sport. And it's the battle of the plot armor, right? Like whose plot armor fails first, DDP or fucking RDR? Either way, I'm here for it. Sign me up, right? Whenever DDP beats Khamzat Chimaev. Now, the name that I have on the tip of my tongue for Robert Whitaker is this one. And I think it's a fun one. I think people are going to get behind me on this one. I would like to see Robert Whitaker fight Sean Strickland. Sean Strickland's coming off a loss. He's looked like he's had an up and down trajectory as of late. It's going to be a minute before he gets cleared to fight again after the debacle that he had, right? Because he's suspended in the state of Nevada. Ipso facto, the UFC is now not letting him fight until that gets lifted. And as of right now, he's suspended indefinitely. So it's going to take some wheeling and dealing, some negotiating, some fixing on his end. He'll probably have to do like a PSA or something. But either way, that time off is going to be perfect. And it's also going to make him fall from the rankings significantly while he's not active. That'll be a means for him to need to fight a Robert Whitaker, who is also falling from the rankings. I just think trajectory-wise, age-wise, timing-wise, just sign me up, bro.
It definitely makes sense. Those are two of the best, biggest, baddest dudes still left that don't have a dance partner, that are kind of the oddballs out when it comes to the title contention picture. Makes sense. What I will say is we'll know more this next month. I don't know if there's a date set for the disciplinary hearing that will be coming up for Sean Strickland. So we will know more then. To your point, how long, what's it going to be? You know, if it's a little slap on the wrist, maybe 3 to 4 months, end of this year, Hobbit Whittaker versus Sean Strickland will probably be a main event, pay-per-view, whatever it is. If it's longer than that, maybe we just assume or hedge our bet that maybe Sean's just not in the picture anytime soon. Rob's 34. He's not going to want to sit around and wait forever. Well, and we're sitting here talking about Rob. I mean, it's how much we admire this guy, but maybe even a BA. And how to fucking Brendan All-In Allen, someone that's trying to make a name. He needs a win over someone like a Hobbit Whittaker. And if you're Rob, you're just trying to get this loss off the dome, right?
That's a shark take, bro. Robert Whittaker versus BA. Ooh. I might be all in on that one, brother.
Too. I mean, listen, anyone can get the smoke from a BA. You know this. But if I'm RDR, I mean, shoot, man. What are you calling for? A Izzy? Are you calling for?
If I'm RDR, I'm waiting for the winner of Khamzat versus DDP.
Maybe even weigh in potentially as that alternate, just to kind of let them know, hey, I'm
he
serious.
Will weigh in as the ultimate or as the alternate, and he might actually replace he might actually replace Khamzat. Because like, how many times have we seen Khamzat pull out of fights? Right, like the guy pulls out of fights like I pull off my underwear to take showers, bro, which is every fucking day. So it's tough. It's tough, man. Dana's got his work cut out for him with this one. I genuinely feel bad when he schedules these types of guys like a John Jones or a Khamzat Chimaev, because you just can't really depend on him, bro.
That's true.
It's hard to depend on these guys. But I love the matchups, man. I love the structure of the UFC right now. I hate some of these outcomes. I wanted to see the old dog get the win. I know they're the same age technically, but you know, Robert Whitaker has been here longer, so he's the old dog for us. But it is what it is, man. It is what it is. This is a part of the sport. In the last 2 weeks, we've watched Robert Whitaker lose and Dustin Poirier lose, and it has not felt good. But you know, the fights are incredible. The outcomes are what they are. And we're going to be here to break them down every single week following those fight cards. And we hope to see each and every one of you in the chat. Listen, folks, there's a handful of you. There's 16 of you right now on Twitter/X. If you could do us a huge favor, it'd mean the world to us. If you could just come over to YouTube, even just for a moment, smash those likes up, smash the subscribe button, and most importantly, smash that bell for notifications, folks. That way you know when we're live next, which will be tomorrow for our post show for Tough Talk. So make sure you check that out around 8:15 following the episode for Tough. And folks, oh man, it's Miss B. You dig? Did you come for a shot? She came for a shot. I literally hit her up earlier on IG before we did that last one. All right, I'm gonna pour a little baby one up because can't leave the people hanging.
Can't.
And this will be the sign off. All right, folks. We're at the 1 hour and 34-minute mark. Can't leave the folks hanging when it comes to a shot, and we can't leave them hanging when it comes to a thought, when it comes to these UFC thoughts, right? We're always going to be here with the breakdowns and the predictions, and we hope you'll always be here in the chat with your breakdowns and predictions as well. So cheers to that, folks. Cheers to you. And for the last time before I go to the barber and get the hair fixed tomorrow, cheers to Wolverine, baby. Let's go, bub. Cheers.
Salute.
Let's go. Let's go.
We're all just characters in this game called life. Am I right?
That's a fact, baby boy. That's a fact. And folks, again, I'll say it every single episode. If you've done nothing we've asked you to do this entire episode, that's totally fine. But what we will do is ask you to do these last two things. We ask that you keep on going and that you keep on growing, folks. And we will see you next time. Let's go.
You've been listening to the MMAnomaly Show. No filter. As you may have been able to tell, we dig the MMA, and our passion is to dive deep into the upcoming fights, give you our expert breakdowns, and help you make sense of all the chaos that is the fight game. We hope you've enjoyed the show. If you did, make sure to like, rate, and review. We'll be back soon, but in the meantime, make sure to find us on YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, and Twitch at MMAnomaly. Be cool, and we'll see you next time.